Welcome to Nerds Amalgamated, a podcast that covers the latest events in science, pop culture, and gaming.
I'm the professor, aspiring game developer, sci-fi aficionado, and completely and undeniably a geek trying to take over the world. I'll be breaking down the news from tech to gaming.
I am the DJ, a humble nerd, a big weeb,
and a watcher from the halls of the multiverse.
Just kidding. Anyways, I'll be breaking down all things comics to movies to anime.
Join us and stay hydrated as we quench you with witty banter, unintentionally hilarious hot takes, and trivia more fun than a night at the pub, courtesy of Nerds Amalgamated.
And welcome to another episode, Nerds Amalgamated. How's it going there, Professor?
It is going wonderfully. For people who follow the Brisbane footy teams, which I don't.
Oh man, that was a great game. And plus today's public holiday, so we get a double win. Yay!
Thank you, King Charles, for having a birthday.
How many birthdays does this guy have again?
One. He gets one birthday a year, same as the rest of us.
I thought the Queen's birthday, there was two. Remember Queen's birthday? It was like 3 birthdays, one for country, one for England, two for Australia, like one for different states or something like that.
Well, we all celebrated on different days.
Yeah, which makes it weird. But for
yeah,
those...
part of that was that because the Queen's birthday, her actual birthday, was like in the middle of 2 other public holidays. I think it was around Anzac Day, actually. Let's check that.
And for those who want to know when's the King's actual birthday, it's the 14th of November.
Yeah, so that would clash with Remembrance Day on the 11th, which isn't a public holiday, but it's still a big deal for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Queen Elizabeth II's birthday was the 21st of April.
Uh-huh.
So that would have clashed with Anzac Day. And you don't want to have, like, too many public holidays one after the other or nothing gets done, apparently.
Yeah, so they had to diversify and whatnot. Yeah, yep.
What bugs me is that we've got all these public holidays up until, like, the end of May, and then almost nothing in the second half of
I know. It's the only holiday we have in the second half of the year is the show holiday, which nobody goes to and nobody cares.
I wouldn't say nobody goes to the Ekka.
Yeah, if the okay.
It's the biggest thing. Like, so many people go to the Ekka on the show holiday.
If they want to get sick.
Yeah, lots of people are okay with getting sick.
I mean, if you want to go to the Ekka to get sick, that's fine by you. I don't want to get sick. I've already been sick 2 times. Okay?
Yeah, too many people at the Ekka.
Yeah.
Although I went to a cybersecurity conference at the showgrounds where they hold the Ekka.
Yeah.
And the first challenge, so they had a hacking challenge there.
Yeah.
The first challenge was that I accidentally walked into a construction site and had to break out of it.
What were you doing there?
Well, I followed Google Maps, which was my first mistake. It suggested entering the showgrounds through an open gate on one side and coming out on the other side where the conference was being held. It was being held in a building on one side of the showgrounds.
Yeah.
And any other time that would have been fine if the gate was open, which it was. But we're in the middle, we were in the middle of them doing the big upgrade on the train station at the showgrounds.
What the hell?
So I accidentally ended up on the wrong side of a 6-foot chain link fence and had to find a way over it. Along with a couple of other guys. I wasn't the only one who made this mistake. I saw them and I thought, surely they know where they're going.
You just followed the crowd.
Yeah.
Oh man. We need more holidays on the second half. And
Absolutely.
anyways, we would like to let our listeners know that this episode is sponsored by Res.
Gonna see if I can do this from memory.
Yep.
Res is an energy drink for gamers. It helps with concentration, fatigue, eye health, and contains a bunch of healthy supplement stuff that will keep you in the game for longer.
It also relieves fatigue, eye strain, supports eye health.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Oh, okay, cool. It gives you and each pack gives you 12 sachets. It's good. We're good for 12 drinks.
And you can use our code NERDS, NERDS, to get 10% off at checkout.
In fact, I'm gonna take a drink of it right now.
And it's made locally to us in Brisbane. So that's probably not going to help our American fans.
But hey, if they love an alternative to the standard energy drinks, they will love to try this out.
Yeah, tastes delicious too.
Yeah, apple crisp. So while I'm shaking and stirring this lovely bottle of res, this week's
Taken, not
episode.
third.
Hey, hey. This week's episode, we'll be talking about the Protoclone, the explosive, very explosive EA buyout, and the world's first AI actress.
Please
So,
make it stop.
I have a lot of things to say about that. So when we get to it, okay, I have a lot of things to say about that. Anyways, the so on our first topic, the Protoclone, also called Protoclone V1, it is made by Clone Robotics, and it is a humanoid android robot that is as I said, made by Clone Robotics, based in Poland and America. It is described as the world's first bipedal musculoskeletal android with an anatomically accurate skeleton, synthetic muscles, the myofibers, and many sensors. Now that should scare you.
I'll get my Voight Kampf test ready.
So the key features to this protoclone, it has over 1,000 artificial muscle fibers, which act somewhat like human muscles, contracting, etc. There are roughly 500 sensors moving across the body to provide feedback, plus cameras for vision. The degrees of freedom, there are more than 200 degrees of freedom. For example, many independent points of movement. It combines synthetic bones, joints, tendons, ligaments, etc. The design tends to mirror human anatomy as closely as possible. It doesn't have a human face. It's somewhat masked or visor-like instead. And in the videos that we've seen, it's shown to be hanging from a support or harness, moving limbs, twitching, etc., showing muscle contraction, fluid motion rather than rigid, jerky, robotic motion.
Yeah, I wonder how much power it draws, because like we've had humanoid robots that can be self-supporting for decades, like what was Asimo,
Yeah.
which is a more traditional kind of robot, but it doesn't need to be hanging from the roof.
Mm.
So I wonder how much power this bot draws and why they needed to hang it from the roof instead of allowing it to walk freely.
Oh man, those old school Asimo robots, although I am impressed that it's gone so far from these Asimo robots to what was it? Elon's one? The Elon robots? The Tesla.
Yeah, are we talking about the ones that were introduced by a person wearing a morph suit?
You mean the Optimus?
Yeah. And then they were making a big deal about them being autonomous, but it turns out that they were just remote controlled,
Uh-huh.
which is, it needs some autonomy so it can walk without falling over. But there's a big leap between being remote controlled and being fully autonomous.
So I would say that this is gonna be revolutionary in the next 10 years, I reckon. In terms of, yeah, we're gonna mass market this and make it into a thing. Replace all the workers.
Well,
Oh,
here's the thing. I don't see the point in humanoid robots for factories. Yes, it takes more upfront to design a factory to be automated by robots, but there's a whole lot of, like, a car factory is significantly automated
yeah.
these days. And that's done by using a bunch of specialized robots for each step.
Yeah.
Then you get humanoid robots, which can do a bit of everything, theoretically. But there's so many more moving parts and points of failure. I just don't see the benefit of them for factory work. I think what we will see eventually will be more like, there's a term that's used occasionally that might apply here, lights out basically you can have a factory that has no human interaction, so no need for light because all the robots are doing stuff automatically. Now, obviously, you need some sort of sensors on the robots so that they can see their way around, especially if they're going to be humanoid robots. But it just feels like you're shoving, like, they're cool technologically, but you're shoving a whole bunch of extra points of failure into the system that you don't need to deal with,
Hmm.
that could be worked around by specializing the robots and designing your factory to be automated to begin with. And then they're still going to be cheaper because these humanoid robots are super expensive.
Oh yeah, especially with the maintenance and the amount of programming you have to put in as well.
Yeah. So I don't think that these robots are going to replace factories anytime soon.
The I was gonna say you could train them to be security guards. I mean, they have no face. It can scare the hell out of people.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I've seen this horror movie.
Yeah.
Actually, you don't even need that. Like that Black Mirror episode, Metalhead,
Uh-huh.
the security guard bots were just the dog robots with guns attached.
Oh boy. But extending on the develop the features. So with the Protoclone, so it uses pneumatics, which are air fluid pressure actuators for muscle actuation. Yeah.
Lots of big words there, DJ.
Oh yeah. So future versions are planned to move to hydraulics for more precise and strong movements. The cooling system is bio-inspired. There is a quote sweating system to help cool the muscles when under the load, and the company is aiming for a commercial release known as Clone Alpha with limited production and pre-orders in 2025. Now, in terms of what they could be useful for with what we talked about earlier. So they can be perfect for domestic human environment tasks like simple chores, assisting the home, etc. And the robot stands at the edge of research slash novelty, and synthetic human-like machines with more realistic movement evokes both excitement and unease. Many reactions in media and social media mention uncanny valley, creepiness, but also fascination.
I can see maybe using these in healthcare. If you could replace it's not like obesity rates are going down, but if you could replace a nurse with a hoist with one of these bots that can lift an obese person without throwing its back out, but you'd still need to retrofit the hospitals and nursing homes and everything with tracks for these things to run off.
Yeah.
They really need to be more like Asimo and have a backpack that carries their power supply.
That being said, though, like, could you see these robots uh be fitted with because we have to because if we're gonna put them in the healthcare system, for example, so does are we gonna introduce them into like yes, you're gonna have to understand the Hippocratic Oath and the Asimov's three laws.
I think ideally they wouldn't be autonomous because the free laws robotics, tend to be more autonomous than what I think would be necessary to operate in a hospital. And if they're not doing surgery themselves, there's no need for the Hippocratic Oath. But if they're just like there to assist with transferring patients, you could. Well, obviously, that would reduce the number of staff you'd need, but it would also reduce the number of human injuries.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, it's a serious concern in healthcare that I've heard of that patients are getting bigger and the nurses and doctors aren't getting stronger.
And
And
plus,
eventually, you lifting heavy objects all day, every day will, no matter how you do it, will eventually throw out your back and your knees and
yeah, yeah.
so if they had one of these following a nurse around and like the nurse would walk into the room and be like, we need to transfer patient in bed 31 to their wheelchair so they can go outside, then and then the robot walks over and picks up the patient and helps them move into the wheelchair. I suppose it would need some significant autonomy to do that though.
And plus,
I still don't think free laws is applicable though. That would imply a level of sentience that you wouldn't because the 3 laws are, from memory, do not allow a human. I might be getting the order wrong. Do not allow a human to come to harm. Do not harm a human. Do not allow a human to come to harm through inaction.
So actually, it's more a robot may not harm or injure a human through inaction. That's the first one. You've got that one.
Yep,
A robot must obey the orders given it to by human
that's the one.
beings, except when such orders conflict with the first law. And a robot must protect its existence as long as the such protection does not conflict with the first or second law.
That's
Yeah,
right.
so, so,
I got 2 out of 3.
yeah, that's not bad.
But yeah, I don't think like being used as a glorified hoist is something the 3 laws would need to be programmed in.
The other problem would be if you were if you were a patient, you see these androids following the hospital in its current form, it'd be really freaky. It's like, what's this faceless robot doing here?
That's why we stick googly eyes on them.
So okay, here's a
Forget the
question though.
uncanny valley. Don't try to make them human-like. Just stick
Oh,
googly eyes on them.
yeah, but okay, is it? But then okay, is it more valuable to make robots to look and move like humans, or design robots that are purely fictional and efficient, even if they don't resemble us?
Is it more what? Sorry.
Is it more valuable?
Oh, well, it depends on the purpose. Like a humanoid robot can be incredibly multi-purpose.
Yeah.
A robot designed for efficiency would be just like the one arm that picks up the car and spins it around so the other arms can bolt on the doors. So you're basically talking about the difference between a factory line where you can have a specialized robot that does one job and a generic humanoid robot that can do everything but not as well.
What's also going to be interesting, and also, would you feel comfortable with a faceless machine-looking humanoid, or one with a highly realistic human face?
Think there's much difference to me,
Hmm.
but the uncanny valley has never been huge for me, which might have something to do with being autistic.
Oh,
Like I'm already bad at faces. There's people I've known for 10 years, sisters, who I can't tell the difference between.
really?
Yeah,
So every family reunion, you just go, "Who are you?"
not my sisters.
Oh,
They're friends that I've met, and I don't see them often. I see them every few months. But I often have to turn to my wife and say, which one is that?
yeah. I get that too. It's like when I meet my cousins, they're like, "Yeah, I don't remember you."
Yeah, well, it's a common thing with autism to have the word slipped my mind now, but it's called face blindness. Basically, it's on a scale of severity. The most severe cases literally cannot recognize a face no matter what you do. They recognize people based off their voice, their clothing, their mannerisms, and the more mild cases, like me, have problems with people who look very similar.
I think I have the word for I have the proper word for the face blindness is prosopagnosia. Prosopagnosia, yeah.
Yeah, that's the word I'm thinking of. And so for me, the Uncanny Valley has never been huge, but it wouldn't surprise me if it's stronger for other people. And I reckon if you take a robot designed for human interaction, it's probably better to not try to deal with the Uncanny Valley and to just have a robot that doesn't appear mimic a human too closely. So yeah, something like this with googly eyes.
You know what's going to be interesting? Once we get the protoclone going and perfecting it as the years go on, can you imagine using the protoclone to substitute like amputations, for example? Like, let's say you have an amputated arm, use a protoclone part to as a to insert that amputated arm or a leg.
Right. Well, yeah, there's I could see using this technology to build prosthetic limbs. Prosthetic limbs are already like in the last decade have gotten so incredibly advanced. I think the killer feature for a prosthetic limb though would be a brain computer interface.
Yeah, that would be I think we're giving too many ideas to the supervillains out there.
Yeah, well, I think we're at the point now from what I've seen online about advanced prosthetic limbs, you want to be able to basically read your mind and control the limb more so than have it be more human.
If we make it okay, if we make it human-like, and as we've spoken before, it has a sweating system, and if it bleeds, is it tech, art, or horror?
Well, the androids from Alien sweat and bleed, that milky stuff, and they're in a horror movie, so
Oh, that'd be crazy. I would say it's horror, but I'm like, oh no.
yeah, I actually think that sorry for everyone I'm spoiling, but everyone knows the alien and Alien at this point. So I think the reveal that Ash is an android, spoilers for like a 50-year-old movie, is the bigger reveal in Alien because everybody knows what a xenomorph looks like. But I think it really comes down to how they're used. Like these things being basically to humans what humans are to, pursuit predators. So they're utterly implacable. They will follow you until you die of exhaustion and then kill you, like finish you off. And there's nothing you can do to slow them down. Basically Terminator.
Oh crap. Now all we need to do is build a time machine and tell people, no, you're creating this technology, it'll kill us all.
Yep, we're now one step away from Terminator.
That okay. Speaking of killer robots and killer robots in Uncanny Valley, there is one other one other movie that we forgot to mention. I mean, we might have gone through a lot. We forgot I Robot. Remember how uncanny they were, and how they had the propensity to fight back against the human owners and whatnot.
To be fair, that was because they were being controlled by a
AI,
mainframe.
yeah. Okay.
But that movie is a bad iRobot movie, but it's kind of an enjoyable robot action movie. It never really digs into any of the philosophy that iRobot was all about, like the original short stories that Asimov wrote
Yeah.
that define the three laws and all that are all about philosophy and what it means to be
Oh, they sort of touched on it, but yeah, they glossed it a lot. Yeah,
barely.
but especially when the robot was talking about, I had these things called dreams, and
Yeah,
okay,
that's lifted straight out of a Asimov story. But the rest of it is nothing to do with Asimov. The closest thing is that they just barely touch on the flaws, and that's why the robots went crazy and started killing everyone.
yeah. What's also gonna be interesting with back to the protoclone would be if they make it human like. Oh man, the uses of these will be interesting. So, like for example, should it be illegal to make robots that look human for fear of deception or identity issues, for example? Or would you trust it with your secrets more than a human?
So the first one, if it was illegal to make a robot that looks like a human, it should be illegal to make AI.
Okay, yeah,
Because generative AI is already being used in scams. And I actually saw that some banks, including Combank, are using generative AI to create a scam baiting program. They've created a batch of and when they're hooked up to the phone network. So when the scammers are going through testing all the phone numbers, eventually they get onto one of these AIs and the AI takes them for a ride with the theory that every minute they're talking to the AI, they aren't scamming a real human.
oh damn,
And apparently the record is 54 minutes.
what?
Yeah, one of these AIs tricked someone into talking to it for 54 minutes before they hung up.
Damn.
Much better than my record.
What was yours?
About 15.
Oh, damn.
I managed to keep them on the line until they demand access to my computers, and because I never prepared for these things, I don't actually have any VMs or anything set up for that. I've been meaning to do it, but I never get around to it. And I get these calls so infrequently. I think they've gotten so annoyed with me they put me on the blacklist.
Oh dear.
I haven't gotten a spam call in months. Like,
They
not a human anyway. I
they
keep
found
getting
out.
these annoying robot voices.
Oh
But
yeah,
it's just like,
yeah.
this is the Australian Taxation Office.
Yeah, I get that too. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Press 1 for English. Press 2 for Chinese. And it's like, okay, why would the Australian Taxation Office be calling me in Chinese? Chinese is not an official language of Australia. It's targeting immigrants, obviously.
Yeah.
But as far as I'm aware, if you want to talk to the taxation office in a language other than English, you need to speak to them and get an interpreter.
Yeah, and that takes a long time. Oh, okay. That being said, oh, can you imagine a protoclone doing the interpreting work and it's used as a crime for manipulation? Oh, that would be scary.
Why would you need a humanoid robot to do translation?
I mean, I mean, if you're in the middle of the night and you want an interpreter, for example, like, how long will it take for them to come over to the police station, for
Yeah, you know what's
example?
easier?
What's that?
Having a phone-sized device that can do the translation for you.
Ah, yeah, okay, yeah, I see that. I see
Like,
that.
if you want to talk to the cops and you don't speak English, you just plop down a translator and speak into it. Like, that's literally what phones are advertised as being able to do now.
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah, yep.
We s- Ow! Bit my tongue.
Ugh.
We managed to get to the Star Trek with tricorders before we had the Bell riots.
Yeah.
No, seriously, that hurts.
Ooh. What would be fun? What would be interesting to watch would be how many companies will use the uncanny valley of the robots to make it into like the make it into like like the robots you see in Blade Runner, for example.
Replicants.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing about the replicants is that they pass the uncanny. They are so human, you can't tell that they're not human without using a specialized machinery. It goes into it more in the book, but the Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep by Philip K. Dick. Side note, that leads to some hilarious labels, because some bookshops will label their books with price stickers that have the title and then the author's name,
Yeah.
except they truncate it if it's too long. So I've seen multiple times photos of books that are labeled Do Androids Dream of Dick.
What the hell?
Yeah, a little bit of dirty humor for your public holiday morning. Anyway, the book goes into more detail about the androids being more human than human. And it's basically the whole theme of the book is what is real. Because in the book they have the planet is dying. That's why everyone wants to go to Mars. The planet is dying. There's only a handful of people left. And it's a major status symbol to own a live animal. They touch on it in the movie, like you know how in the movie when it shows the eye shine reflection, and that's an
Vaguely.
indicator of an android.
Okay.
Well, they show that for the owl in Tyrell Corp's headquarters. But it's a major status symbol to own a live animal. So people who can't afford an actual animal will buy replicant animals. And yeah, the whole theme is what is real, what is not, and what does it mean to be human if you can make androids that are so human they are indistinguishable. And it gets to the point that there's a scene where Rick Deckard is captured by some cops and arrested and finds out that there's a whole sort of second society of replicants where replicants have their own police force
Oh
living
shit.
among the humans who are left on Earth. And because he's interviewing one of the replicants or one of the suspected replicants while he's hunting, and she calls the cops on him, and he thinks, all right, I'm literally working for the cops. I'm a I'm a bounty hunter. The cops will come and clear my name and I'll be able to finish the interview. Well, the cops, it turns out, who she called, are fake police replicants.
Oh.
And then there's the sequence where I'm not going to spoil it, but there's a sequence where Rick Deckard and another bounty hunter are sitting there like, what if we're replicants too?
Oh damn. So then it becomes a cascading a penny drop moment, huh?
Yeah, and that gets into the whole philosophical meaning of what it is to be human and what it is to be alive, not a replica.
Oh, speaking of okay, speaking of would you call it alive? With the rise of it, with AI coming into being, and we briefly touched on the AI driven consciousness. If the Protoclone has an AI driven consciousness, would you call it alive?
Well, that is the thing, isn't it? Can you call it alive if it is indistinguishable from a human being? What is the definition of alive?
Yeah,
Like, we
the
can't even define life for biological things. You ask a scientist, are viruses alive? And you'll get half a dozen different answers. Because, yeah, like, you'd think, what is alive? Alive is the ability to reproduce. Well,
yeah.
no, because viruses can't reproduce. They have to hijack other things to reproduce. They're literally bits of RNA floating around that plug into your cells and make it produce more viruses. So are they alive or are they unalive?
That's gonna be a bit. As much as I want to jump into jump in and talk about this, this will be a long conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So are these robots that passed a Turing test, are they alive?
Oh,
A Turing test is a test where you basically have a computer and a human, and they're chatting with another human, and the third human has to. Well, I say third human. There we go. I'm calling the AI a human now, apparently.
oh
So
no, he's
the
converted.
judge has to chat with the AI and determine which is the most human. If the AI wins, is the AI alive? If I go and unplug a computer and the computer starts begging me to let it not unplug it, is it alive? I don't
What?
think we can, say whether an AI is alive
Mm.
without first getting very philosophical in defining life.
Yeah, we don't even have the answer for that one.
Yeah. I mean, again, we can't even agree on the point at which a zygote is alive. So, the development of a child, offspring of any species, you start with the sperm and the egg, you mix them together, you get a fertilized egg. Is that alive? Then the egg splits into a group of cells called a zygote. Is that alive? Then it goes through a couple more stages and becomes an embryo. Is that alive?
Yeah.
We're still arguing about that.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. That debate's gonna rage on for
Yeah.
years to come.
Like, even aside from the abortion debate, there's people that believe life begins at conception, so the moment the sperm and the egg combine. Then there's people who believe life begins, like, I believe it's in the Torah that life begins with the first breath. So a baby isn't alive until it's been born and begins breathing. So, it's something people have argued for literally thousands of years. But I feel
Anyways,
like
we
we're
should.
getting way off
Yeah.
topic here, so can we move on?
Yeah. I was gonna say. So, we should move on to our next topic. After this heavy discussion, with another heavy news, which is EA being bought out by a lot of companies and Saudi Arabia.
Yep, for $55 billion,
Oh.
Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, Silver Lake, and Affinity Partners have made an agreement to purchase EA. And this has upset a lot of people.
Yeah, I could tell.
So, the Public Investment Fund, or the PIF, is a sovereign wealth fund controlled by Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, and it's estimated to be worth nearly $1 trillion. What's scary is that Elon Musk is on track to being the first individual trillionaire.
I saw that. I was like, no.
Yeah, I saw that headline the other day, and it's like, this guy has literally more money than
The
some of
planet
the richest
itself.
countries on Earth. So the PIF started purchasing game studios a few years ago, and that's upset a lot of people because they have a poor record of human rights, discrimination against women, and other things like homosexuality being illegal in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And also the murdering of journalists like Jamal Khashoggi. So there was also a meeting last year between Mohammed bin Salman and a French delegation, including Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot, who should resign for fostering such a toxic culture at Ubisoft.
Oh yeah, yep.
I've been saying that for years. I'm going to keep saying it until he's gone.
Yeah.
For to create a DLC for Assassin's Creed Mirage.
Oh, I heard about that. That was a that was a low blow.
Yeah, it's like if you're like back to ethics, is it ethical to take money from a country that literally just assassinates journalists they don't like, stones people? Well, they don't stone people anymore. They behead
Okay,
people
let's
who
just say they have
commit
questionable
heresy.
human rights. Let's just
Yeah.
say that.
So anyway, their video game and esports arm, Savvy
Mm.
Games Group, was founded in 2021 and owns ESL Faceit, who are a third-party rank service for Counter-Strike Go games, and Scopely, who purchased Niantic in June. If you don't know, Niantic makes Pokemon Go and Ingress and other GPS-based games. So now the Saudi government has access to all of our GPS data. They also own 8.1% of Embracer Group, who own PlayEon, THQ Nordic, and Coffee Stain. And they've been sticking their fingers in all sorts of pies. They purchased 5% of Capcom and Nexon Gaming for 1 billion, 5% of Nintendo. So the next member of the consortium, Silver Lake, the 12th largest private equity firm in the world, based in the US and run by Egan Durban and Greg Mondre. They specialize in technology. So Silver Lake has investments in companies like Airtable, Dell, Klarna, Noom, Stripe, and Unity.
Yeah, I'm looking at their list there. Yeah, they've got their hands on anything and everything as well. Even
Yeah.
GoDaddy. What the hell? And Alibaba.
They're also a majority shareholder in the parent company of Manchester City Football Club and have stakes in football clubs across the world.
Yeah, the Saudis are infamous slash
No, this
famous for
isn't
that.
Saudis. This is Silver Lake.
Oh, wow, Silver Lake had that too. Wow, okay.
Yeah. Which kind of makes sense that since they own so many they own stakes in so many footy clubs or soccer clubs to be Australian, or anywhere not from the UK, that could be an aim to bring in EA's football club franchise.
I hope. I
Yeah, well,
hope.
they lost the FIFA license, so they renamed it Football Club. And not that FIFA is much of a better company than any of these. I assume I don't play these games, that they lost the rights to use actual club names and stuff as well. So maybe by owning stakes in actual clubs, they hope they can bring it back into EA Football Club.
Yeah, I guess, but it's gonna be it'll be a hard ask. It will be a very hard ask. But I don't know. I mean, with this sort of merger happening, before the merger, before the buying, they were really under trouble, weren't they?
Were they? I mean, they're being bought for 55 billion. They've got tons of money.
Oh, I know that, but then they were not doing well with the in terms of goodwill. Like throughout the years we've known EA, like when they introduced loot boxes, for example, EA were being hammered like
Yeah,
really badly.
for providing a sense of pride and accomplishment.
Yeah, and then not to
Do you not
mention,
remember that post? The
yeah,
most downvoted post in Reddit history.
yeah, I remember that.
The final partner in this consortium is
Mm.
Affinity Partners, a US investment firm run by Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner.
I saw that. I was like, what?
Yeah, and if you want to know the caliber of person Jared Kushner is, he says the assassination of Jamal Khashoggi was one of a couple of missteps.
Yeah.
Yes, torturing and killing people is a misstep that can be just forgiven like that. That's all right.
Oh.
And Affinity Partners was founded in 2021 with a $2 billion investment from the PIF. So the Saudis have their fingers in this fund as well.
At this point, the Saudi Arabia is playing life on unlimited money mode.
That's what oil will do for you.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Oil are not caring about your citizens. I mean, Norway has oil, but they have great social programs like healthcare and roads and all of that.
Yeah, yeah, I remember. Yeah, yeah. The crazy part about this buying is that, as I said, like EA hasn't been doing well, even with the loot boxes and the caliber of games that are coming out.
And this won't help.
Yeah,
Their reputation is now tied to the Saudis.
but it sets a very dangerous precedent in terms of your company's losing money, so you're relying on a very big consortium here to bail you out, and the consortium is just a bunch of suits that, well, are they gamers, are they not gamers, like they won't care, and
Uh,
that's a very
I
dangerous
think
path.
the after effects of this are that this is going to be a sort of leveraged buyout scenario
Yeah.
where a company is purchased and then its assets sold off to make a quick profit for the buyer. So I think maybe a few of the IPs will stay with the PIF and, well, this consortium, but I think they'll probably strip everything else and sell it off. I'm surprised. Well, I would be surprised if they kept Football Club because it is hugely profitable, but it no longer has the FIFA name attached to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And that is a huge marketing bit. Is there another game with FIFA attached to it now?
Find out.
Yeah, I don't follow sports games, so I have no idea.
Not that I know of. No,
Okay.
not that I know of. No, ever since the EA took it out, nothing.
I don't think they'll keep BioWare's IPs
Oh
because
yeah.
those games have historically been very what's the word I'm looking well, they're very LGBT friendly, and the new owners are not.
Yeah, although I mean their last, what was their last game? By
Veilguard.
Yeah, Veilguard, and how that turned out to be an absolute shit show. I spoke to
It
a couple
was
of people.
didn't make as much money as they were hoping.
Oh, dude, I spoke to a couple of people about this. A lot of people didn't like that game because it was fan fiction in a nutshell. That's what they said.
Right, so the story wasn't as good as the other Dragon Age games.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. That'll probably happen when the head story writers have all left.
This sort of buyout, does this reflect the valuation of the games today? Like 55 billion. Is that the overall cost of the games in today? Do you reckon?
The games industry is so huge
Yeah.
that it is absolutely the worth the investment. And EA has some of the biggest properties out there. Specifically, one of the ones I think the PIF and this investment group might keep, which is Battlefield.
Wait, I thought. Oh, okay. Yeah, Battlefield. Yeah. I mean, the recent games coming out about 4 days time. So
Yeah, and the projections are that there are going to be like 6 million sales because they've got over a million pre-orders already, and they're predicting like 5 million more in the first week from an article I saw the other.
dude,
So
the minute Battlefield comes out, it's gonna be a public holiday. You're gonna get a lot of sickies on that
yep.
day. The the other question you have to also ask with this acquisition is, there was also revealed, and I didn't put this on the show notes, but that they're also going to be relying on AI to accelerate the game development process.
Yeah, it's not there yet. AI is not ready for that sort of thing. There's a few games I'm aware of that have used it, but they still needed massive human intervention to end up with a reasonable product. So I think they're buying into the hype like almost everyone else is. Yeah, I think this is bad for EA,
Yeah,
possibly good for the rest of the gaming industry, because EA has been known for buying out smaller companies and then killing them off and maybe releasing, like, they say there will be no changes to the workforce immediately following the buyout, but I can't imagine that lasting long. I imagine a lot of people will resign and protest. So we'll see. Maybe spreading those people back out into the world will lead to a new wave of indies.
yeah. That's an interesting thing. Like, could you see it? Could you see this buyout accelerate riskier and more experimental game development?
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping, like, I know some of the former BioWare people have bought out, like, started a new studio. So I'm hoping maybe they can snap up the IP when it comes up for sale and keep making quality BioWare style games.
What potential changes could fans notice in terms of in terms of game content monetization or creative direction? You reckon people would notice when with this sort
Well,
of thing?
going off Pokemon Go,
Hmm.
which I still play, it's a bitty pleasure of mine. Even though I know it's now feeding everything straight to the Saudis, not a big enough issue for me to worry about yet. There's so much else going on that is utterly terrifying and worrying.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um, I think, yeah, we've seen a slight increase in monetization, but I think we're going to see more once the roadmap is run out. I think there was likely a roadmap of what they were putting in for the next year before they got bought out. Now they've been bought out, they'll keep at that for a year and slowly, boil the frog and slowly increase the monetization.
Yeah. As I was saying, like with this debt heavy buyouts, like it feels like the questions you have to ask is this a genius financial leverage or a ticking time bomb for the
Well, it
gamers?
depends. Do they have assets you can sell off to make a quick buck?
Yeah, yeah.
These leverage buyouts are weird because it's sort of like you buy the company and then the company has to pay off the debt that you took out to buy the company. And if you decide to bankrupt the company and sell off all its assets, you don't actually face any negative repercussions for that.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Company does, not the new ownership.
So
So if they're doing what I think they're doing, then yeah, they're going to kill off EA sooner or later, and or at least kill off a bunch of its things that are less profitable than Battlefield.
if EA falters under the new ownership, so is it a failure of the company itself, or is it the industry's faith in the mega deals? In your opinion?
If EA flops after this, it's because they've been run into the ground. Because EA it's got a couple of I won't call it, what would I? They're not evergreen because they release yearly installments, but it has IPs that are forever popular,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
Football Club and Battlefield.
yeah.
They'd have to work hard to make a Battlefield or Football Club game suck so hard that nobody wants to play it ever again.
Oh yeah, like the remember remember the WWE 2K games before they revamped that thing. The amount of
That's
glitch.
an example of the games being run into the ground so hard no one wants to play them.
And then they revamped it again.
Yep. So
Oh
yeah, we'll see. I think we just have to wait and see
yeah,
because we don't know a lot of detail yet.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And what's also going to be interesting is yeah, you're right in terms of private ownership becomes riskier games or riskier microtransactions. That's going to be interesting. Can you imagine the new batch of Battlefield, for example? They go, oh, due to this new ownership, we're going to ramp up your microtransactions for a bit.
Yep.
Yeah. As a game developer, I think I might have. As a game developer, though, is this sort of buyer helping aspiring game developers more or less?
Well, it means that I don't think, unless they kill EA,
Yeah.
I don't think it means a whole lot to aspiring game developers because they're not going to be buying out like any sort of indies. They're pretty squarely on games that are huge money makers. And I don't think most of us have to worry about being bought out by the Saudi public investment.
What's interesting, I just realized something. Now that Saudi Arabia has entered into the gaming sphere, we've already seen the rise of we are seeing the rise of China in the gaming sphere. Could you see a bit of an arms race going again, like with China, America, and Saudi Arabia?
Well, I'm happy to see more countries getting into game development. I think it gives us the opportunity to have more varied takes on things, but I'm not sure the Saudi government has any point of view that I'm particularly interested in spreading around. So, that's ultimately what it's about. It's about cultural diplomacy. What they see how Japan has gone from, in the space of less than 100 years, Japan has gone from World War II to place where you make cheap garbage to tech leader to cultural leader with anime.
Yeah.
Like Back to the Future even has jokes about how Japan is a tech leader
Yeah.
because they've got that scene where he's like, "It's made in Japan," and they're like, "What do you mean it's made in Japan? Japanese stuff's garbage," and
I
or
remember
however it
that.
goes. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a long time since I've seen that,
Yep.
and yeah, so in the space of under 100 years, Japan has become a technological and cultural leader in the world. And I think the Saudis and China both want some of that pie.
What's going to be fascinating is how if China and if China and Saudi Arabia, two of the most problematic countries known to man, can you imagine other countries now coming into the play?
I mean, you're kind of hard pressed to find more problematic countries.
I mean, come on, look at like, can you imagine Azerbaijan buying Ubisoft, for example?
Yeah,
That would be
I don't think
something.
Azerbaijan has the money.
Oh no,
Like,
actually no,
we're talking about
Kazakhstan.
countries that have the influence to be able to buy a company like this,
Yeah.
and also have the desire to be cultural icons. And I don't know that Azerbaijan has that sort of pool to do either of those things yet. And the government also has to be interested. Like, I know a lot of Russian games are made by indies. There aren't a whole lot of Russian government sponsored game developers that I'm aware of.
Yeah, wait, wasn't Stalker a Russian based game as well?
No, that's made by Ukrainians.
Oh, okay. I'm sadly mistaken.
Yeah. So Stalker and Metro, which are some of my favorite Ukrainian games, are surprisingly made by Ukrainians, even though they come across as very Russian because everyone speaks Russian and they talk about rubles and all that. And Metro is even set in the Moscow metro.
Yeah.
Stalker is a bit more ambiguous because it's set in the Chernobyl exclusion, but everyone speaks Russian and uses rubles, so
Hmm.
it's sort of an alternative history where perhaps the USSR didn't split up as much as they did in our timeline.
Hmm.
And then there's a bunch of indie Russian games like Pathologic. I'm not aware of any state-sponsored Russian games.
Yeah.
They're probably out there, but they're just not very good.
That's fair. We should
Yes, we should
on
move
that.
on.
Yeah,
We've
we
been
should.
here for way too long. Move it on, DJ.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So while everyone's going crazy in the gaming sphere with EA going on a being bought by the Saudis, another crazy thing is happening in Hollywood, and that is the introduction of the AI generated actress. And I think I told you about this, Professor, few years back now about this. Like, and I asked you the question, what happens when we get AI actress or actor in the red carpet? And I think your response was, "Do we have to care?"
Yeah.
Well,
Do I
it's
have to care? I mean,
and
they've made her, but is this actress, Tilly Norwood, actually going to be any good?
oh, so for the uninitiated, Tilly Norwood is a fully generated AI actress that's created by Sequoia, which is the AI talent arm of producer slash actor Ellen van de Velden's studio Particle 6. Her introduction was made at the Zurich Summit, part of the Zurich Film Festival, in late September 2025, during a panel of emerging technologies in entertainment. Van der Velden says Tilly already has drawn interest from talent agencies and suggested that her representation would be announced in the coming months. In her remarks, Van der Velden set an ambitious benchmark. Quote, We want Tilly to be the next Scarlett Johansson or Natalie Portman. She argued that AI offers flexibility beyond budget constraints and that audiences ultimately care more about the story than whether the star has, and I quote, a pulse.
Yeah, but it's also the delivery of that story. Like, if people really cared about story over actors and plot lines and all that, and sorry, effects and all that,
Yeah.
then Marvel wouldn't be the biggest bloody thing on earth. We'd hear more about indie films, and we don't hear about those. So that's pretty good evidence that people care about the actors with a pulse.
Oh yeah, and not to mention having a pulse is kind of useful in terms of facial expressions and and moments, like iconic moments, like like Blade Runner, for example. Imagine if that's the "Tears in the Rain" scene was done with an AI actor. Oh, that would be That would be terrible.
I'm just imagining Microsoft Sam now.
Oh shit. uh,
All
so
of this will be lost, like tears
oh.
in time to die.
Oh, isn't it? Oh, no. Can you imagine the voice of was it Sam? Sam's the Odyssey one, right?
Odyssey?
Space Odyssey.
Oh, no, that's Hal.
Yeah.
Microsoft
Oh,
Sam is a completely different voice. Like Hal was played by a human with a effect done on it. Microsoft Sam is a completely like computer generated voice.
yeah. Yep. Okay, now I get it. So, the announcement was met with sharp criticism from numerous actors. Melissa Barria urged actors to drop agencies that would sign Tilly. Lucas Gage quipped she was a nightmare to work with in response. Others, including Mara Wilson, Nicholas Alexander Chavez, have raised ethical objections about Tilly was constructed using composite faces and the implications for human performers. Emily Blunt, Whoopi Goldberg, and Natasha Lyonne publicly joined condemnation, calling the concept scary, exploitative, or a threat to creativity. And the criticisms comes in forms of Tilly was trained on human performances without permission or compensation. She lacks lived experience, emotional depth, and authenticity that underpin traditional acting, and she represents a potential displacement of human actors or devaluation of their labor.
Well, that's the whole point of it, really, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
You can replace the actors with these AI generated characters,
Hmm.
and you don't have to pay a human, and you can pay less money, so suddenly the human labor is worth less,
Yeah.
except to the artisans. And we'll see the market contract because there's less need for artisanal film, and we'll just have a handful of really big name actors and a bunch of nobodies.
They're all side actors. So in response to that, Van der Velden and her team defended Tilly as not a replacement of humans, but an artistic experiment or tool akin to CGI or animation with creative possibilities. Van der Velden wrote, "She's not a replacement of a human being, but a creative work or a piece of art. And I see AI not as a replacement of people, but as a new tool or airbrush." That feels that statement feels a little bit iffy in a manner of speaking.
Yeah, because a new tool doesn't replace the artist. This is creating a tool, if you want to call the AI actress that, that will completely change the artist from the actor to whoever controls the prompt for the AI.
Yeah, that being said, they've released her. They released her on a trailer for the Sweet Idleness, which was released at the film festival, and the film is touted as the first feature-length project directed entirely by an AI quote agent named Felon AI. The movie is seen as part of the broader push, not only are synthetic actors emerging, but not now even behind the camera creative roles such as direction, writing, and are being undertaken by AI agents. So it feels like it's gonna be the robots are coming in.
Then I guess we'd better start fighting the robots.
So what's interesting is that it does raise that question. You're right in terms of do audiences care about the story being told or the humanity of the performer? And
Well,
like, sorry.
you can have all the best actors and still have a crappy story and it's a crappy movie.
Hmm.
So, yes, it's all important, but it's all parts that make up a greater whole. You can't just say, do people care more about the actors than the story or more about the story than the graphics? It all comes together, it's part of the experience.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I agree with you there. So that leads to that leads to an interesting thing. So would you count AI actors as a tool, a gimmick, or a threat if it becomes mainstream?
I think it's a threat to actors
Hmm.
and a threat to quality entertainment.
I reckon initially it will be. I reckon initially it will be a threat, but as the years go on, it will just be a gimmick.
I hope so.
Yeah, yeah, and and if I recall, SAG-AFTRA had posted a response to this to the release by saying, here we go. Yeah, so it's Sean Austin, the just elected leader,
What did you say?
Sean Austin. Oh, Aston, sorry. Sean Aston, the newly elected leader of SAG-AFTRA, he said, I appreciate that this story has captured the imagination of people, but it's not the first shoe to drop. We had a 118-day strike fighting hard to put AI provisions and protections in place. The teams at SAG-AFTRA have been in this fight for longer than people might realize. As technology continues to advance at light speed, we are going to meet the challenge.
Fair enough.
He's also said, with regards to AI, we have an extraordinary amount of leverage because the audience want to see real human performance in movies, TV shows, animations, video games, audiobooks, and in all other ways that we represent our members. So what's interesting about this is like on the one hand, yes, I hate the fact that we're going to see AI actors coming into play and doing these roles, but it's what's going to be interesting is the fact that you're gonna see a lot of people abusing this new technology now.
Yep.
Like, what is it? You're gonna see a lot of people just making a lot of deep fakes, for example. Actually no, it's gonna be worse than deep fakes. And the other interesting and the questions a lot of people would be asking is, would you watch a movie starring an AI celebrity, or would it feel very hollow?
Depends on the movie.
Yeah, 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 yeah. And then once the AI actor outlives its creator, like who will manage the profits from it as well? That's another
The
question.
company.
The company?
Yep. It's the same way any sort of art is created these days. You transfer ownership to the company and the company makes all the.
Oh man.
That's why Disney still owns Mickey Mouse.
Remember that? Yeah,
Even
yeah,
though Disney has been dead for like, it must be getting close to 75 years or something.
yeah. Ah, yeah, I remember those. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. And and what's also going to be interesting is the fact that is the AI actress hyped just a stunt to make us all argue for free press in a manner of speaking
How does one follow from the other?
in
Do
terms
you
of the
mean
free.
publicity rather than free press?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, of course, the first AI actor is going to be a publicity stunt.
And what's also that saying being a publicity stunt. What's also going to be interesting is the fact that this is going to be an AI an AI actor or actress that you could change its features with a click of a finger,
Yeah,
and that's terrifying. Like if you could build it's terrifying that you could build an AI actor from scratch. Would you make them hotter than the human?
I don't see why you wouldn't.
Yeah, and that's going to scare a lot of people.
Yep.
Anyways, on that note, we'll be back after a short break, and we'll be back with our shout outs and our wacky movie. So on the 1st of October 2025, Dame Valerie Jane Morris Goddell passed
You
away
keep saying
at.
that wrong.
What do you mean saying
It's
that wrong?
Goodall, not Goddall.
Damn
I've
it.
told you this already.
My bad. Goodall passed away at 91. She's a British primatologist and anthropologist, and regarded as a pioneer in primate ethology. She was best known for more than 6 decades of field research on the social and family life of wild chimpanzees at Gombe Stream National Park in Tanzania. Beginning in 1960 under the sponsorship of Louis Leakey, Goddard's work challenged prevailing scientific views by showing that chimpanzees make and use tools, hunt cooperatively, and display complex emotional and social structures once thought unique to humans. She later founded the Jane Goodall Institute in 1977 to promote wildlife conservation, followed by the Roots Shoots youth program in 1991, which grew into a global network. She also established sanctuaries and reforestation programs in Africa and campaigned for ethical treatment of animals in research, farming, and captivity. So Goddard's research at Gombe Stream challenged two long-standing beliefs on the day that humans could construct and use tools and chimpanzees were vegetarian. So while observing one chimpanzee feeding a termite mound, she watched him repeatedly place stalks of grass into termite holes, then remove them with the hole covered with clinging termites, effectively fishing for termites. That's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah,
Any
yeah.
sort of animal that uses tools is cool.
Oh yeah.
Tools are cool.
Yep.
That's why I've never understood calling someone a tool. Like, tools are useful,
Until they are rusty.
even
Then,
when they're rusty.
as an effective murder weapon, maybe
Well, you can still restore rusty tools and make them
okay.
useful again.
Yeah, yeah. So she described the 1974 to 1978 Gombe Chimpanzee War in her 1990s memoir Through a Widow: My 30 Years with the Chimpanzees of Gombe. Her findings revolutionized contemporary knowledge of chimpanzee behavior for further evidence of social similarities between humans and chimpanzees. Goodall found an aggressive side of chimpanzee nature at the Gombe stream, where she discovered that chimpanzees will systematically hunt and eat smaller primates, such as colobus monkeys. Yeah, that's nasty. I don't want to go into the gory details, but yeah, there were the massacre itself is a one to not for kids. And she even named some of the some of the chimpanzees are after crazy names like David Greybeard, a gray-chinned male who first warmed up to Goodall. Goliath, a friend of Greybeard, originally alpha male, named it for his bold nature. Mike, who is who through his cunning and improvisation displaced Goliath as the alpha male. Humphrey, a big, strong, bullysome male. Gigi, a large, sterile female who delighted in being the aunt of any young chimp or humans. Mr. McGregor, a belligerent older male. Flo, a motherly, high-ranking female with bulbous nose and ragged ears, and her children, Figan, Fabian, Freud, Fifi, and Flint. And finally, Frodo.
You miss
Uh,
Satan,
oh yeah, Satan as well. What was Satan? What was Satan again? That was
chimpanzee.
yeah. I don't think I saw that one. No. But yeah, but yeah, there is a Frodo as well. And that's the Fifi's second oldest cousin, aggressive male who attacked humans, including Goodall. That was that's a crazy one. On the 2nd of October 2015, it's the 10th anniversary of The Martian. A 2015 sci-fi epic film was directed by Ridley Scott from a screenplay by Drew Goddard, based on the 2011 novel of the same name by Andy Weir, and distributed by 20th Century Fox. The film stars Matt Damon, Jeff Daniels, and Kristen Wiig, co-star with Sean Bean, Michael Pena, Kate Mara, Sebastian Stan, and Mackenzie Davis in supporting roles. The film depicts an astronaut's struggle to survive on Mars after being left behind and NASA's efforts to return him to Earth. You've seen this movie, haven't you, Professor?
Yes, it's a great movie and a great book.
How accurate is it a one-to-one depiction, or have there been some creative
For
liberties
the
on
most
both?
part, I think the
Okay.
biggest changes are that there's no sandstorm during the journey to the launch site, which, to be fair, wasn't the most action packed part of the book. It's basically him spending a day working out how to work out which way the sandstorm is moving so he can go around it. And also that he never shorts out his communication with NASA, so the space pirate line doesn't make sense. Because he says if you I'm committing space piracy because NASA never said I could have this spaceship to get home. And well, in the movie they skip the scene where he breaks the communication by accident and can't talk to NASA to get the message that they want him to go to the other spaceship and do that. and in the movie he's got comms all the way through.
Nice. NASA was consulted in order to get aspects of space and space travel, specifically in relation with Mars, with most accuracy. NASA is federally funded, yet charges no one, including private for-profit organizations, any fees for use of and access to its archive and consultants. Oh, they would be kicking themselves right now. Like, think of the money they raised from that movie. Oh, that was so cool. So Ridley Scott claimed Matt Damon's solo scenes were shot for 5 weeks straight, after which Damon was relieved from the schedule. Consequently, Damon did not see most of his co-stars again until the cast was reunited to promote the film. Author Andy Weir wrote his computer program using real Earth and Mars alignment data to determine the best theoretical date for the Ares 3 mission to launch.
Yes, that's the kind of nerd Andy Weir is. He
Nice.
writes a program to calculate the orbital mechanics of the Earth and Mars to work out when to launch a rocket.
Yeah. And so Ridley Scott claimed that one of the most difficult scenes to direct was how to explain to the audience the hexadecimal system uses as a code to communicate with Earth, which Scott admitted was hard for himself to understand. And and apparently I don't want to don't want to spoil the movie too much, but Matt Damon admitted that the scene where Mark was getting emotional upon hearing Commander Lewis's voice was genuine. The other actors had wrapped up and gone home, and their pre-recorded voices were actually being played to Damon from inside his spacesuit. When Damon began to think about how his character has been all alone on Mars for 2 years, alongside how he was only hearing pre-recorded voices of his co-stars, who had already finished their scenes, he began to tear up. So Ridley Scott was so impressed with Damon's performance that he only did one take of the scene, which was in the film. And according to Neil deGrasse Tyson, this, and he quotes, may be the first sci-fi blockbuster ever in which nobody dies.
Except for Sean Bean's career, because he gets
Yeah.
fired.
Really?
Yep.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Sean Bean, there's another one. The Cloak and Dagger meeting to propose the Rich Purnell maneuver is dubbed Project Elrond, and after the Council of Elrond in the Lord of the Rings series. When this name is questioned, the first character to explain it is Henderson, played by Sean Bean. Bean played Boromir in Lord of the Rings and was present at said council. So, Professor, what's our messed up moment in nerddom this time?
Well, you've already alluded to it. It's the Gombe Gorilla War. Well, sorry, Chimpanzee War. I don't know why I keep thinking gorilla. It's chimpanzee. Basically, I'll keep it short because you won't stop talking. A clan of chimpanzees living in western Tanzania separated into two subclans, controlling a northern area and a southern area. These clans were okay for a while. They'd patrol their areas and occasionally get into scuffles, but it was mostly fine. Apparently, they would only really fight if they found an isolated chimpanzee from the other clan. But one day, they decided to take it further. A party of 6 adult Kazakela males, so Kazakela was a reference to one of the clans, came across a Kahama male Godi while he was feeding on a tree. They grabbed Godi, threw him on the ground, and beat him until he stopped moving. Celebrated boisterously, throwing and dragging branches with hoots and screams, and retreated. It was the first time that the chimpanzees had been seen to deliberately attempt to kill a fellow male chimpanzee. Next, the Kazakala group ambushed and maimed a chimpanzee named D, in which a female chimpanzee, Gigi, joined in to assist the battle. Then they attacked Goliath. Goliath had been relatively friendly with the Kazakala tribe when they ran into each other, and they killed him anyway.
Oh, damn.
The researcher who observed the attack was shocked by the brutality and witnessed one chimpanzee attempting to tear off Goliath's leg.
Yeah.
So for some time there were skirmishes between the two, and the two tribes, and other chimpanzees vanished and were presumed killed. And the last remaining Kahama male, Sniff, survived for over a year. It seemed as if he might escape to a new community or be welcomed back to the Kazakalas, But eventually the Kazakala warband found him and killed him.
Man.
One of the researchers argued that some of the missing chimpanzees might have escaped the Gombe area and had joined up with an unstudied chimpanzee community to the east. So, after killing Sniff, the Kazakala had succeeded in taking over the Kahama's territory and either killed or captured the female chimpanzees from Kahamas. Of course, it didn't end there, because the Kazakalas quickly realized there was a much stronger tribe to the south of them now, the Kalande, who returned the violence and began killing the Kazakalas. After several years of this, Kalande and Matumba males from two neighboring tribes invaded the Kazakala area and began to interact with each other. The Kazakala community nearly collapsed entirely, apart from the unusual number of young males growing up at the time. Unable to fight the Kalande and Matumba, they eventually intimidated them and scared them off and reclaimed some territory before hostilities eventually died down and restored the status quo. And according to one researcher, this is an example of transgenerational violence, so where violence proceeds across from one generation to another, specifically because of Frodo, an alpha male of the Kazakala, who was known for being exceptionally aggressive. He was born during the war and witnessed a infanticide streak by two Kazakala females. And Jane Goodall said that for several years she struggled to come to terms with the knowledge of the war, and that she would have nightmares about it, of Satan drinking Sniff's blood. Rodolph, who threw large rocks at Godey, was already defeated. Jomeo tearing skin from Day's thigh. Figgin charging and hitting Goliath, who was apparently one of Figgin's childhood heroes. And this is basically one of the first examples of a war in a non-human population that was recorded by scientists. And when Goodall reported the events, some scientists accused her of anthropomorphism, which is where you assign human traits to animals, and that her presence and feeding the chimpanzees had led them to conflict.
Yeah. That war. Far out, man.
Brutal.
Yeah, I've got nothing else to say about that war. I would love to see a documentary on this at some point, but yeah. On to our wacky movie. On the 2nd of October 2001, Tremors 3 Back to Perfection premiered. This is the ongoing saga of the Tremors bunch grew by another chapter with the home video release of Tremors 3 Back to Perfection, written in part and directed by Brent Maddock. The sci-fi comedy starred Michael Gross, Sean Christian, Ariana Richards, and others. And here is the plot summary. The now famous Bart Gummer returns to his hometown of Perfection, Nevada for the first time in years, but the deadliest graboid evolution yet forces him to save the town he swore to protect.
His name's Bert, not Bart.
Sorry.
Learn to read.
Yeah, in this in the scene where involving the tourist mother and son conversing with Gummer, the boy asks for his picture to be taken with the tremor, playing on a common misconception that the title Tremors was also the name of the creatures, despite the fact that they were actually referred to as graboids in the previous films. In 2001, a Tremors video game was announced to be in production, being developed by Rock Solid Games. Tremors the game was said to be a third-person survival horror action shooter that also incorporated heavy open map sandbox style gameplay elements as well. Set for December 2003 release on PS2, Xbox, GameCube, and PC, the game was quietly cancelled in the summer of 2003 due to, and I quote, a lack of fan base for the game, and fears that the game would severely underperform. At 104 minutes, this is the longest Tremor movie, and this is the only film that's said to be rated PG and not PG-13. This is somewhat humorous considering the large amounts of the term ass blaster is repeated. So, on that note, that's all we have for this week. Where can they find us, Professor?
Pretty much everywhere.
Yeah, anywhere, anything and everywhere now. We've also got We also do our Twitch streams on every Sundays, 3 p.m. And we'll be we've got some stuff coming up. So keep you posted. Anyways,
I
that's all I
realize
have.
nobody knows what time 3 p.m. is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah.
Which time zone?
Australian time zone.
Which
Australian.
Australian time zone?
The pointy end of it.
AEST, you moron.
Aw. Anyways, look after. Stay happy, stay nerdy. See you guys.
Look after yourself, stay hydrated, and I'll see you next time if I haven't gone to prison for killing the DJ.
All right, see you guys.